Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven and you're down.
When you're straight, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers the name.
When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven. That's good. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange,
When you're strange,
when you're people are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. Faces come out of the rain. No one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange,
Oh, I just didn't know.
when you're
No.
strange, yeah. Night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side. Dug our treasures there. Still recall the time we tried. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. You're my baby, everybody loves my baby. She gets high. She gets high. Country in your eyes, eyes that change, eyes that lie. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through. Oh yeah. Day to city, week to week, day to day, hour to hour, play to say, deep and wide. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Well, I've done Broke On Through and then Broke On Back. A little bit of Morrison tonight at the Nado Republic, coolest restaurant in Coronado. My hangout. Riders on the Storm coming up, if you can stand it. Riders on the Storm. Into this house we're born, had an argument with Andy Morrison about the lyrics to this song. He said, like a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan. And he was arguing that, no, it didn't say actor without out on loan, it said something else. Anyway, the pentameter was all wrong, and he had to say, yeah, I was wrong about that, but let your children play. Give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Great song. Paul Rothchild, producer, when he heard this, he said, oh, it sounds like cocktail lounge music. So they picked up Mandrake and Bruce Bottinger, the engineer. They picked up the stuff and they left the studio and they went to their garage and they recorded the whole album on 4-track tape in their own garage. They didn't need the pedantic little producer who I call the Silenus, Paul Rothchild, constantly milking it, making Jim insane in the studio with the slightest little inflection wrong. Stop, let's do it again, let's do it again. Later on we found out why, because every time he did a take, he got paid. He blamed the band for not being, but it was him, the little bastard. He weaseled everybody for years, and even years later, Oliver Stone called him in to coach Val Kilmer on what Jim Morrison sounded like. Well, of course, he would know because he was there, but he had no inkling about the artistic side of Jim Morrison. And he had Val Kilmer for like August through like July, 7, 8 months practicing one fucking song. And it was all in vain because, and while he was doing that with Oliver Stone, he called me up because I was doing my production with 7 Jim Morrisons. He said, hey, listen, do you want me to consult with you? And I said, no. Well, you're the consultant. Well, I know all of it. I said, do you know who you're talking to? And he went, no, I don't. I just read your production company is doing a Jim Morrison project. And seeing as how I'm the expert, I'm working with Oliver Stone and everyone else who wants to. And I'm just doing it for the money. He didn't say that, but he inferred that. And I said, well, listen, I don't need you because Jim was my brother-in-law. He went, are you Alan? I said, yes, I am. Well, Alan, you know, I meant I know all the technicals. Yes, we know you know all the technical stuff, you little bastard, but there's a passage in my book where Paul Rothchild was so irritating one night that Morrison and I left and went next door to a bar and got happy. And we came back and Paul Rothchild, in his anger, had slammed the doors shut and wouldn't let Jim Morrison in anymore to record. Because he was putting a dressing screen around him to get an encoder. Morrison just walked out and I went with him. Anyway, so because the doors were locked, Morrison got really pissed and he picked up a 5-foot potted plant that was in the hallway and hurled it right through the plate glass window. And it turns out the Paul Rothchild was locked up and he hadn't gone. He was in the parking lot sitting there in his car smoking a needle-thin, shitty, cheap joint, which is what we smoked back in those days. And he hopped out of his car like a little elf. That's how short he was. He had a balding head. And I called him the Silenus because if you read Sermon of Bergerac, he called the baker, you Silenus? He's a fat, bald man. It's a Greek word, I believe. Anyway, and he was going on and on about, listen, man, I don't have time for this. And Jim said, well, I don't have time for it either. And then later on, Jim was talking to me and he said, yeah, he's like that because he did 2 years in Texas for 2 joints or something like that. Or whatever. It wasn't. He said, since then his life is fabulously personal and every second. Not when you're jacking us around and running up the clock to get more hours, you bastard. And that's what he was doing the whole time. The work could have been much easier. Morrison would have been less pissed. And the Doors, well, they just went along for the ride because everybody was on the payroll. But the people like Paul Rothchild were milking it. Of course, everything above it, they milk it too, but there you have the inside story, and it's just like, still pissed off at the way they didn't look after Jim Morrison. He promised them all for one, one for all, the Doors. As soon as Miami hit, they all said, well, all for us and not for you. You've got to pay for this whole event. And Morrison lost it. In fact, he quit the group. They wouldn't let him quit because he had a contract. He was going to change, he was going to play with another band, and they sued him unsuccessfully to stop him using the word or the name Jim Morrison and the Doors. So he eventually went to Paris and died. And that's that, the end.